Which one of these is a werewolf? A, B, C, or D? I'll give you 5 seconds to answer. And if you chose C, you're correct, and you get 1 point. And that was just one of the 20 questions that I'm gonna be quizzing you on to see how well you know Dead Rails, with the 20th and final question being the hardest. For every question that you get right, you'll get 1 point. But if you get one question wrong, you lose a point. Be sure to count how many points you get throughout the video, because by the end, I'll reveal just exactly how many points you needed to pass the quiz, and whichever one of you passes is a Dead Rails genius. And starting off with question number 2, how much do outlaws sell for? A, $100, B, $50, C, $35, or D, $70? Now, when you kill just one outlaw, you can drag its body over to the sheriff's office and sell it for $35. So if you chose C, you're correct, and you get 1 point. Now, I know this question might have been easy for a lot of you, but question 20 won't be. But moving on to question 3, at what time do werewolves spawn? A, blood moon, B, morning, C, full moon, or D, lightning storms? Werewolves are one of the most strongest and most dangerous enemies on Dead Rails, and because they are so dangerous, it wouldn't make much sense for them to spawn during the morning, because it would be way too easy to kill them. So therefore, in order to make them OP, they spawn during full moons. So if you chose C, you're correct and get 1 point. Now, just in case you didn't get this question right, don't worry, because later there's going to be a bonus question where you can get extra points. So be sure to stay tuned for that. But moving on to question 4, how much does Nikola Tesla's head sell for? A, $150, B, $250, C, $500, or D, $300? Nikola Tesla is the most powerful boss in all of Dead Rails. He has insane health and insane attacks, and he's so powerful to the point where his head can be sold for $250. So if you chose B, you're correct and get 1 point. Question number 5, which boss was added during the Easter update? A, Nikola Tesla, B, werewolf, or C, the Easter Bunny? The new Easter update added a variety of new things to the game, a new game mode and a new class. But another thing that they added was a new boss, the Easter Bunny. So if you chose C, you're correct and get 1 point. Now, I know this question was obvious, but I'm not going to be holding back on this bonus question coming up next. Which one of these is the Easter Bunny? A, B, C, or D? Now, if you compare B and D, you can see that B has pointy ears, whereas the ears on D are round. And what kind of animal has round ears? Well, bunnies do, which means that D is the Easter Bunny. And if you chose D, you get 2 points instead of 1. But be sure to stick around for the 20th and final question, because if you get it right, you'll get 10 points. But it's a really hard question, so if you don't get it right, you automatically fail the test. So good luck, and let's move on to question 6. What enemy spawns in the Sterling mines? A. Zombies, B. Werewolves, C. Skeletons, or D. Vampires? Now, this question actually has multiple answers. The mines in the town of Sterling spawns multiple different enemies. So when you first enter the mines, you'll be greeted with dynamite zombies and skeletons. But that's not it, because once you pick up the strange mask, multiple werewolves will spawn and attack you. So if you chose A, B, and C, you're correct and get 3 points instead of 1. And I know this question might have been hard for a lot of you, so be sure to stick around for the next bonus question to regain your lost points. But moving on to question 7, what enemy used to be sellable but now isn't? A. Vampires, B. Werewolves, C. Zombies, or D. Zombie soldiers? Now, if you're an experienced Dead Rails player, you would know that vampires and werewolves are still sellable on Dead Rails. Normal zombies were never sellable, but up until the update on March 15th, zombie soldiers used to be sellable for $35. But now, they can't be sold anymore. So if you chose D, you're correct and get 1 point. Question 8. Which one of these is Captain Prescott? A, B, C, or D? Now let's go over each of these choices together and let's see which one is actually Captain Prescott. Now, if any of you chose A, you're wrong. This is obviously a werewolf. And if any of you chose B, you're also wrong. That's a zombie. And if you chose C, you're wrong again. That's the bunny boss. But if any of you chose D, you're correct and get 1 point. Question 9. What type of zombies spawn at the Tesla lab? A. Zombie soldiers, B. Dynamite zombies, C. Scientist zombies, or D. Sheriff zombies? Now, at the Tesla lab, once you put all of Tesla's parts together, a large amount of zombies will start to spawn. And those zombies are called scientist zombies. So if you chose C, you're correct and get 1 point. And if you want some extra points, here's a bonus question. What is your favorite part about Dead Rails? Be sure to comment down your favorite part about the game, and once you do, you get 2 points instead of 1. I'll give you 15 seconds to comment. Personally, my favorite part about Dead Rails has to be its consistency. The devs are always putting out new updates every couple weeks and making the game better and better. And that's what I love most about Dead Rails. So if you guys commented your favorite part about the game, you get 2 points. But don't forget about the 20th and final question, because it's gonna be the hardest question in this entire quiz, and it's worth 10 points. And if you don't get it right, you automatically fail the test. So when question 20 comes, be ready. But moving on to question 10, what is the best weapon to kill werewolves? A. Shovel, B. Revolver, C. Rifle, or D. Shotgun? Like I said before, werewolves are one of the most powerful and strongest enemies on Dead Rails, and are insanely hard to kill without a good weapon. Trying to kill them with a melee is a really bad idea, and they'll kill you in seconds. Killing them with a revolver isn't the worst idea, but you'll end up wasting all of your ammo really quickly. But if you want to kill them as fast as possible, using the shotgun is the best idea. The shotgun does 200 headshot damage and 100 damage normally, making it OP to kill werewolves. So if you chose D, you're correct, and you get 1 point. Now, if you somehow got this question wrong, don't worry, because later there's gonna be a bonus question for extra points. But moving on to question 11, what type of zombie has armor? A. Normal zombies, B. Sheriff zombies, C. Ironclad zombies, or D. Dynamite zombies? Now, normal zombies do not have any armor at all. Sheriff zombies only have guns, and dynamite zombies only have TNT. But the only kind of zombie that does have armor are ironclad zombies. So if you chose C, you're correct, and you get 1 point. Question 12. How much do werewolves sell for? A. $5, B. $15, C. $50, or D. $20? Now, werewolves are one of the most powerful enemies on Dead Rails, but they aren't exactly the most valuable. You would think that they would sell for a lot because of how OP they are, but they only sell for $20. So if you chose D, you're correct, and you get 1 point. And if you want some extra points, here's a bonus question. What type of zombie is sellable? A. Normal zombies, B. Sheriff zombies, C. Zombie soldiers, or D. Captain Prescott? Typically, most zombies aren't sellable. When it comes to normal zombies, they are only useful for train fuel. But there is one zombie that can be sold for $150, and that zombie is Captain Prescott. He's the only sellable zombie in the game, and before the latest update, zombie soldiers used to be sellable as well. So if you chose D, you're correct, and you get 2 points. Now be sure to stick around for the 20th and final question. Like I said before, this is the most difficult question in this entire quiz. And remember, if you don't get it right, you automatically fail the quiz. But moving on to question 13, where does Nikola Tesla spawn? A. Safe zones, B. Fort Constitution, C. The Outlaw Town, or D. The Castle? If you chose C, the outlaw town, you're correct and get 1 point. Nikola Tesla is one of the most strongest bosses in the game, and it makes more sense for him to spawn at the end of the game instead of a random place in the middle of a run. So if you chose C, GG's, and let's move on to the next question. Question 14. At what time do vampires spawn? A, the morning, B, full moons, C, blood moons, or D, lightning storms? Vampires spawn during a certain time on dead rails. Unlike zombies, they spawn during a certain type of night and only spawn on that night. And the night that they do spawn in is the blood moon. So if you chose C, you're correct and get 1 point. And be sure to stay tuned for a bonus question for extra points, cause trust me, you do not want to miss it. But moving on to question 15, what type of weapons do outlaws have? A, shovels, B, revolver, C, rifle, or D, sawed-off shotgun? Now this question actually has multiple answers, and if you get them all right, you get 3 points. Now outlaws obviously do not have shovels, but according to the Dead Rails wiki, outlaws have revolvers, rifles, and sawed-off shotguns. So if you chose B, C, and D, you're correct and get 3 points. Question 16. What challenge involves not killing a single enemy? A, a fistful of dollars, B, Pony Express, C, pacifist, or D, electric remains? Now, if you chose C, you're correct and get 1 point. This question was really obvious. Everybody knows that the pacifist is where you play an entire game without killing enemies. And once you complete it, you get 30 bonds and 9 stars. So if you got this right, GG's. And here's a bonus question for extra points. Who is your favorite Dead Rails YouTuber and why? Comment down who your favorite Dead Rails YouTuber is, and once you're done, you get 2 points. I'll give you 10 seconds to comment. Now, personally, I'm not gonna lie, my favorite Dead Rails YouTuber is RealMatt. He makes really fun quiz videos, and everybody who's watching right now should subscribe to him. But if you ended up commenting, you get 2 points. And before I move on to question 17, get ready for the 20th and final question. Because remember, if you don't get it right, you automatically fail the quiz. But moving on to question 17, what building is the most dangerous in the game? A, the Tesla Lab, B, the castle, or C, Fort Constitution? According to the Dead Rails wiki, the castle is the most dangerous building on Dead Rails due to the large amount of werewolves and vampires that spawn there. It's a very risky building to raid without the proper weapons and a plan. So if you chose B, you're correct and you get 1 point. Question 18. What type of night spawns no enemies? A, lightning storms, B, full moons, C, new moons, or D, blood moons? According to the Dead Reals wiki, the night that spawns no enemies at all is the lightning storms. Absolutely no enemies spawn during those nights, but the only thing that players do have to look out for are the lightning strikes. So if you chose A, you're correct and you get 1 point. Now, just in case you got this question wrong, don't worry, because later I'm gonna be showing the final bonus question, but this time it's gonna be really hard, so be sure to stay tuned and get ready. But moving on to question 19, who's the most valuable enemy that isn't a boss? A, vampires, B, werewolves, C, Captain Prescott, or D, outlaws? Vampires can be sold for $15, werewolves are sold for $20, and the outlaws can be sold for $35. But Captain Prescott can be turned in for $150, making him the most valuable non-boss in the game. So if you chose C, you're correct and you get 1 point. But I have some really bad news. The next question is the 20th and final one, and that question is going to be the hardest and most difficult question in this entire quiz. And I have even more bad news, because question 20 is not gonna be multiple choice. You're going to have to use your brains and come up with the answer by yourselves. And if you get it right, you'll get 10 points. But if you don't get it right, you automatically fail. So be sure to get ready and really focus. But before I reveal what the 20th question is, here's the final bonus question for extra points. Did you like the video and subscribe? And if you didn't, I'll give you 5 seconds to do it. And once you do, you'll get 2 points. If you just left a like on the video and subscribed, you get 2 points. But I have some bad news, because all the points that you have right now might all be gone because of the next question. Question 20. How much money would you make if you killed 50 outlaws in one game? Now this time, I'm not going to be giving you any choices. This question will fully rely on your brain, and if you get it wrong, you automatically fail the quiz. But because this question is so hard, I'll give you one hint. Now, one outlaw is worth $35. So if you kill 50 outlaws, just think about how much money that would be. I'll give you 20 seconds to answer. Now, like I said, one outlaw is worth $35. And if you kill 50 of them, how much would that be? Now, one outlaw is only worth $35. And if you times that by 50, that would be $1,750. So if you got that right, you get 10 points. But the video is not over yet. It's now time for me to reveal how many points you needed to pass. Now in total, there were 20 questions and 5 bonus questions. And if you got all 20 questions right, you would have 33 points. And if you got every bonus question right, you would have got 10 points. So if we add it all up, 33 points plus 10 points equals 43 points. So if you have 43 points right now, you have passed the test and are a Dead Reals genius. GG's to everybody who played, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and watch the next video on the screen right now.